Hey there, I'm Eternal, and I'm an object show fan that has barely watched any object shows. It's time to fix that. Let's play Object Catchup. Hello there, and welcome in to Object Catchup, the series where we discuss object show episodes right after watching them. Whether they are new or old, famous or unknown, it doesn't matter. We will get to it all. And today we have a little bit of a different episode because I have officially well, it's not going to feel that much like a different episode, but I've officially invented a system that's going to allow me to sort the things to get to a little bit better than how I was, because I was sort of doing random selections and things, and it just led to some bias in general because of what I picked. So we are doing it purely view based from now on, all that stuff. But you won't get to see any of that process. You'll just see the results of what I end up taking a look at for these videos. At the end of the day, we'll get to it all, as I say. Request episode is going to be in a couple of days, so either it could be tomorrow, we'll see, but it'll be soon-ish that I'll do the video covering at least a portion of the requests that I got in comment sections, because I do want to give a support to who wants their show covered as well, either their show or just a different show. Right? I've seen a few show creators suggest their show and a few people suggest other people's shows, so I will be eventually getting to requests. But for today, we're just going to be catching up a little bit with what I like to call the blue tier, the tier that has had over 10,000 views, which is 2 shows at the very minimum. We might get another in there if not. But we're going to start off here with what isn't technically an object show, in terms that it's a show, right? It's an object show episode. Um, this is a film. It's a short film. It's a short, right? Which I don't usually tend to think of as to cover. Not because it's not anything, but just kind of because there's not too much usually analyzing to do, because there's no future to it, right? Like, it's a thing bound to itself. So usually I don't take a look at this. But this one has definitely made the rounds. It is titled Nolla. In 3 days, it has reached 35,000 viewers. Created by MintyInTown, which is a fellow YouTube creator with 2,000 subscribers. The video is 7 minutes long. We'll talk all about it. We'll discuss it right after I watch it in just a moment. All right, let's go. Okay, I have just watched Nolla Object Show film, and yeah, I see why it's made the rounds. This shit is crazy. All right, so Um, let's recap both for you and for myself. So we have waken up one morning from an alarm, and we meet Rose, which is, to be honest, I actually I didn't ever figure that out. It's like one of those like medicine things, like pills and stuff. And then we get some fellas. She's 6 in the morning. We're in a group chat with a bunch of other fellas, um, which is doing messages in the morning and stuff. And then she eventually, I think, asks them if they want to hang out, if anybody's there to hang out. But apparently, there's been no response, which means, but she's not exactly happy about. And in the meantime, she's commuting to work, going to the train station and stuff, while dodging any type of social interaction at all. It is not allowed anytime someone dares to. Like, eye contact is too much. So, I see it. And then eventually, while she's focusing on avoiding one person, she ends up crossing the sidewalk and bumping into another person, which we later find out is named Nicole. She drops some stuff, but there's this thing about social awkwardness, is that you just end up leaving as quickly as possible to not make a fool out of yourself, which means that she leaves some papers which she didn't realize, at least, that she dropped. So those end up staying with Nicole, while Rose goes to work, which is this bookstore. And then we get to see the day-to-day workings of some fellas buying stuff. You get to see here the manager get in some, rougher looking knife blade, right? Where, like, you can tell it's older because it's older. It's like more roughed up. So yeah, you get to see the store from this like view. This view, by the way, is probably so hard to animate because this is like the view that you get in games. It reminds me a lot of like Game Dev Tycoon. You know Game Dev Tycoon? Like the office in it, it uses this type of view. And a lot of stuff uses this type of view. I know like The Sims and stuff, right? But like for an animation, it is pretty impressive with especially with the depths of the walls and stuff and a perspective and all that. Just pretty impressive because usually it's used by 3D engines because they're 3D. But yeah, for animation, it is very cool. We get to see some fellas, some pill father and the pill kid just hanging out near the little play area. The store is called the Stone Orchids Books, which is a name. Would that mean anything? I mean, not that I can immediately imagine, unless it's like that's the place they're in. They could be in Stone Orchids as a place. They eventually buy someone. We have this green thing. Looks like a surfboard, to be honest, from first thing. Imagining was super shy. And he was like, "Oh no, you have to buy it." And then it's like, "Okay, I'll put it back." And then eventually they put it back because it's like there's also the thing about being see when you are shy yourself and you see somebody like who's experiencing that same feeling is that sometimes it's like, yeah, you gotta help him out, right? Then the times pass, and then one time, guess who shows up? Nicole. But before Nicole, I'd just like to point this out. So there's this wall, all right, this wall in the back, that has a bunch of stuff: public object readings, injured, and then a bunch of stuff, and then free therapy consultations, and then a book fair from the 15th to 17th. I must say, when okay, with the public object readings threw me off, but when I was originally looking at this board, I was like, why is this such a negative board? Like this is taught like is injury therapy, all that, like it's not that therapy not negative, right? But like some usually you go in it if something negative is happening, right? So like in general, I was like that, but now the public object reading has shown up, so I was like, no. Then there's a scan for Wi-Fi. I didn't scan it, but there's a link in the description. I don't have my phone right now, but there's a link in the description. It pulls up the pages that Rose has written. That Rose dropped on the floor. So what did we drop on the floor? We dropped writing 1010 and the 3 pages of it. So I must say, what is because okay, I'll be honest. I've been trying to read these. My ability to actually read this type of handwriting is horrendous. I'm really sorry. The most overrated thing in the world, in nature, is not birds, bugs, foliage, or even animals, but atmosphere. The very particles that glue together our world, that keep that weight of the sky from crushing all things to powder. The morning mist, the air currents bringing movement to dandelion seeds and clouds. The oxygen that starts fires, the petrichor scent following a rainstorm, the invisible things that allow life to continue on. Thickly sweet concrete mixed with soil and flour that had firmly wept, the asphalt radiates warmth from the expired sun, carrying the aroma into the air. Five sensory details: moist, humid, bright, warm. What? Plush? No, hush. Wait, that's not a. I don't know. Three. Bro, why am I bad? Why I am discovering that I can't read. Chat, I can't read. Bridge mist, asphalt, verbs. Oh, nouns. Shattered, cried, and grasped. Fabian Vienna. The rain, which once assaulted the earth, fades into a light sprinkle. I stood planted atop the rickety steel bridge, hundreds of feet in the air, wet with mud and fresh skyfall. Shivering in the cold, I gazed ahead. Just past the white fog blanketing the earth, sunlight shone onto a pure, large cloud emitting from the recent explosion. It was maybe 3 miles wide and 7 miles tall, stretching towards the stratosphere. A cold hand grazed my forearm. It was Vienna. She looked at me, her face blackened. Okay. and creative writing 1010. Sometimes I feel like I'm only supposed to live for a few more years. So many people around me are moving forward, and I'm just stuck in place. I don't talk to people anymore, not in the way others do. I try, but I just don't get along with them. I don't really care for others. I just talk because I want to feel some sort of acceptance. I wish I was alone. I wish there was no other person left on earth. Maybe then, through the silence, I'll be able to hear God's voice. I just want silence. I want the undivided attention of whatever sick being gave me this life. Nolla. Gets a 5 out of 10 from the t-shirt. Nah. So Nolla as a name is an interesting name because it could mean a bunch of things. The first thing that I'm immediately thinking is that it could mean no life, Nolla, no life. I'm that's immediately something that I'm imagining, right? That's like one of the things that's like, okay, that makes sense, you know. Um, and also in some languages, it could mean nothing, right? Because Nolla, for example, I speak Italian, nulla with an with a u instead of an o means nothing. So that mean well, it's a way to say nothing, right? There's many words. So it is possible that it either means nothing. It could mean no life because no life, like it's so similar phonetically. Um, but I'm probably guessing that it means something like, yeah, here numeral null is zero. So like zero something, whether it's like zero life, zero will to live, zero peoples, like zero desires. It's just zero. Zero is a common theme in these types of situations. And then we have this entire Google Docs, which I have completely not looked at. It is 16 pages long. I um I feel like I almost shouldn't read this, but I don't know what this is. October 24th, 2024. I I mean, what day would this even take place? And oh, I bet it might have been written on the freaking thing. Now that I think about it, on the thing that I just read, 9:05, 9:15, and 9:23. Okay, the moon is beautiful. You think? But I prefer the new moon. I'm just trying to look at this quickly. There's no way I can look at this in time. That's like way too hard. I think it's a Rose and Nicole conversation. Cause yeah, we're explaining the story of how Nicole got robbed or got beat up. So yeah, what did wait what? What is the story? Hold on, it's been almost a decade since. I'm so sorry. These types of things when there's outside me, it's happened surprisingly often at this point in Object Catchup that we've had outside media to look at, and because of the rule set, I do it right after watching the video, which means that this stuff I have to take a look at it live. So yeah, actual roses. I got reasons essential. I'd be surprised there was a single ACS left in the world. Hear what's happened to us. So there was like a explosion here. What in the world? So yeah, because there was like, huh? This is a universe right here. 7 days earlier. Then there's an assignment to just talk to someone. Just have a conversation. And you'll be graded on a conversation. Is this the conversation that we're getting graded on? That what's happening? Uh, okay. Yeah. So I don't really know what's going on in this universe. I'm gonna be 100% honest, but it's like there was an wait. So there was an Is that like a story? I've been trying to find out what this first one is. No, not this first one. The second one, because like Fabian Venna, the rain, like a cold hand grazing. Interesting word choice. The rain was assaulted the earth. Oh yeah, fair. Fresh skyfall, shivering past the white fall. Like, is this a book? This looks like a book. So that makes sense. Is it? Would it be real? It could be real. Fabian Vien. No, this is that's just a person. It's just a. There's no way this. That's just a real person. Okay. But like, all right. So considering what happened to us. No, or no, no. So there wasn't an No, what? I don't know. Or is it that them meeting is what is like happened to them? You know? Because like, is that what's happening? Yeah. Look, I don't know. I don't know. It would require more analyzing that I'm putting in. The amount of silence that I've already done in this is pretty excruciating. So let's get back to where we were in the actual video. Yeah, no, right. We were talking about the video. We were recapping the video. Nicole arrives into the store, um, and then is like, "Hey, I need to use a charger. So could I like, because I don't have a charger right now, but I'm running out of battery and I can't find a storage charger." So please, because you're at 5%. Earlier it was a 70%, which is a nice detail that actually did go down. Because throughout the day, eventually Nicole's like, "Hey, since we even bumped into each other, that means I can trust you." So I mean, I don't even know. Of course, I don't know what's going on from Nicole's perspective, to be honest. Because okay, we see what's going on with Rose, right? The way that Rose antisocial, but like, I don't know how Nicole out there. Because that's the different part of the story, the sequel in common. No. Um, there, I'm presuming it could be any type of experience, whether it's like, oh yeah, you got beat up, so you just refuse to talk to people, it's too scary, right, and all that stuff. But then eventually, yeah, she's just chilling there pretty much like the whole afternoon as the bookstore ends up closing down, and this kind of crazy looking deodorant ends up buying it. That's a crazy. Oh, I didn't. I'm looking at it right now. That's the sickest design of all time. Okay, so they end up getting in, and then we end up going back here. It's October indeed. Call Ashley. Hello, hello, Ashley. What did you what? Why? Why? Why would you? Why is that there? What? There's a computer therapy Thursday. Dude. This store, this store is not okay. No. So 98% battery is not 100%, but yeah, eventually they end up leaving. They eventually say their name, and Nicole ends up handing them back their papers. Then Rose, last second, ends up rushing by to tell them something. What did they tell them? Presumably it's the phone number because they have a little paper with the phone number. So I'm guessing that's what they gave out. Because other than that, what would it be, right? Unless like Nicole freaking stole it, but I don't think that would happen. Right, unless it was like over there in the back. So I think that Rose gave it last second. It's like, hey, here's my phone number if you want to chat. Then eventually at night, Rose goes to bed and then gets woken up by Rose. And then they have a conversation. And then we have the Nolla logo, which, by the way, I'm sure means like, you see, this is definitely, no, this is God. It's got to be zero. Because Nolla is like a zero, like the O is sort of, it's kind of narrow, kind of like a zero, but then there's a line through it because the zero has a line through it a lot of the time. So yeah, and then what the nullum? Yeah, I actually haven't seen. Yeah, it's a Latin word meaning no one, and then nihil I think also means no one, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've heard that one before. Yeah, it's just nothing. There's a lot of nothing going on. Yeah, nihilism. Family philosophical views arguing that life is meaningless. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to think that maybe they like is their view on the world different in any way than it would be for us is the only thing that I'm trying to maybe figure out, right? Is that like, is this like a parallel universe? Is this like a parallel world that like acts exactly the same, but they're objects? Or did something extra happen in the world? I don't think there was an explosion. I don't think that's happened. I think this is a book. I don't know what I was. I don't know what I was doing. But like I don't know. Dude. Sometimes I go come in with some line of reasoning. Sometimes I get things surprisingly correct. In this case, I think I'm getting it surprisingly wrong. But so there's all this cool stuff. So it's just kind of like, would their view on Earth have been shaped up by anything different that happened in their universe than it did? I don't think so. I think this should be a pretty similar situation. So yeah, to be honest, she's been doing that for. She's been probably working at the store for a while, probably for a couple of years. Because if you think about it, okay, so let's imagine that mess is 10 years ago. It's almost been 10 years. So that would make her like. So apparently it was 14 when mystery thing happened. That's not good, and we don't talk about it. Okay, so that would mean that if 10 years have passed, roughly, that would make it her 24, and that would make the total. That would mean that I don't know how long would they work there? Like probably like 4 or 5 years. At which rate you can start, to properly go like, bro, what am I doing? Nothing's progressing, and all that stuff. Which is, yeah, I can understand. Animationally, as I previously said, everything's really good. The designs of the characters, like I think the designs of the characters is definitely one of the most impressive things because they're just so detailed. Like again, that deodorant is definitely one of the biggest examples. But even Rose herself, um, and like Nicole, they're all very very solid designs. So designistically speaking, is great, and angles like the way that they trip over each other, right, and all that stuff. Like it's all pretty cool. I do gotta say one little detail. All right, one little detail that I am gonna point out is that where did the mushroom fella go? You know the mushroom fella that was about across the street. No, where did? Wait, they leave. Why did they leave? Wait, what are they doing? Wait, they just go the other direction. I didn't even see that. Wait, why would you do that? What? Were you like scared? What in the world? Wait, so you were gonna cross the street and then they just went the other way. I'm curious about that now. What are you doing? Nah, so you were just chilling, like la di da di da. I'm gonna cross the street, and then you see the other fella cross the street, and then yeah, you were literally taking a step forward, and then as soon as you see them cross, you just go. I go other direction. Nope, not crossing this street anymore. Roses here. Okay, that's an interesting stranger right there. Cause I was wondering, cause like where did it go? I never saw them actually crossing the street. Yeah, cause they don't. They just fucking leave, which is crazy. There's something on the wall there as well. No trespassers, I think. But yeah, either way, there's all of the situation. The group chat leaving. What do you think of the message? The message is pretty good. Like the thing about it is that yeah, there's a lot of this like antisocial, things in life. A lot of people who feel like they can't talk or it doesn't matter to talk to someone or they're not worthy in a sense, but at the same time they don't care to and they don't want to, and it's too much energy, right? Like in general, it's just like this whole, like this is why like depression is bad. I know, right? New crazy thing just dropped, but it's like there's a reason why it is so bad. Is because like it's such a bad mindset. Because anything that would help is considered useless in a sense, right? It's considered negative. It's considered like, oh, why would I do this? It doesn't matter, even if it helped, right? So like, there's a reason why it's so bad for a lot of people, and it's because it does actively attack a lot of the things that would help itself. Basically, is one of the reasons, which I think is definitely a thing that matters here. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna comment too much more on it. I'm just analyzing, trying to find out what it means, with with the whole shebang. But I'm not gonna comment too much of it because it is not a life I live at the end of the day. I'm not in the 9 to 5 game yet. You'll see. I'm not in the working at a bookstore at 24 years of age. I'm younger than that. So I'm currently keeping it relatively on the low key. I've tried to analyze this with the life knowledge that I have, which is not this. This is not part of my life knowledge yet. But, um, and I'm not somebody with an exactly negative state of mind very often to where I can usually, make too many insightful commentaries on it. So that's why I just kind of leave it in this case. But absolutely, go watch it yourself. I mean, look, why must he go watch it? You're 26 minutes into this video. Like, if you are listening to this, you are either watching it, you either made it or watched it or whatever the hell you did. Because, like, what? Also, apparently, by the way, I've heard that somebody in this voice acting career is like worth like not worth. They're like famous or something. They're like a Hollywood star, but I cannot find any of these people. So that might be wrong, or they have like a net worth of like 14 million bucks or something. I don't know who that is. I've tried searching them, but I can't find any of them as the name. So I guess good job to them, whoever it is. And for I think this is the first thing that they made that that MintyInTown here made. Absolutely amazing here. Getting the right people, super consistent art all throughout, super high quality, and yeah, just a very serious story. There's a community post that released yesterday, which do I am I gonna read? Should I read this? Nah, no, no. Not reading it. Not reading it here. Go read it yourself. Go look at MintyInTown channel. Go read it yourself at your own speed. I don't want to read it here badly and then make wrong assumptions about a real person, all right? So, I mean, I wouldn't make assumptions, but, I don't want to be out here discussing that. So, I'm discussing the fictional world that those two live in, not the real world that actual people are living in, all right? So, yeah, that's all I really got to say here. I've yet about this for way more, but it is the main topic of today, so I don't really mind doing that. That was Nolla. Actually, I read it on my own, and I just wanted to point out that yeah, there is the whole comment made about Yuri baiting, which I found interesting enough that I am gonna give in a little quick bit of a note here, and it's that so when a character has no friends, it's not that the only friend they ever make has to be like a romantic interest, you know? Like, I mean, I understand why people in media, are going to be like, people who watch media are going to be like, oh, they're cute, right? Because, people can be cute. But then, and eventually, and assume it to a relationship. But in a way, it's just like a friendship, debatably, all right? Having a good friendship can almost be better than having a relationship sometimes because it's just that different thing, a lot of people would argue that you want both, and I think that's probably correct. I think that's the better way to look at it, but like, just that ability to just have that somebody that's just kind of positive vibes when you talk to them, and maybe it's not like because the thing about love is that it is a positive vibe, but it is a different positive vibe. Like, it's kind of a thing, right? Like, it's there's like a million songs that try to explain it, and all of them fail because it's not like, as a concept, it's impossible. is one of those concepts. So like you just kind of know. But like a friendship is more, it's a positive vibe in a different way where like there's things that just goes, right? You can just talk and stuff. And I think that personally probably was going on here, right? Because um it's not even that they're just like because it's not like that's not the experience here, right? Because they're just talking because like they're the one person that they found to each other that are like are proper nice, you know. They're not mean. They share that thing, and they just chat and do stuff. So it's like it's not it doesn't give me vibes of romantic personally, you know. Personally, I'm not very much so a romantic media seer, however, so make sure that this is a thing. Um, like I nearly never do that. Like you'll be like genuinely, you'll see me talk about a ship here like so little. I don't know. I just don't really observe romantic like interests in media. You know, like I don't go, oh yeah, they're probably dating. Like I just don't. I don't think that personally. And in this case, I disagree wholeheartedly that that would be what it is. But maybe, maybe. Like at the end of the day, yeah, you can imagine it how you will. I just had to pop in this extra note because I felt like I should talk about it. I mean, like again, this is the one segment on all I can do because there's probably not going to be another one as also stated in that same post. So yeah, but go read yourself for the full details. Now we're going to be moving on to another thing. Goodbye. All right, now we're veering completely off track because from the last thing that we watched because we're going to Dandy's World. Yeah. We're going to Dandy's World because the next series that we're going to be taking a look at is Dandy's World Trinket Trouble. So, it's been 3 weeks since this episode released, but I didn't know of its existence when it released, and however, it did release after Teapot 20, which means that I should have known of its existence. And in fact, despite being very delayed on knowing about it, I better late than never is what I'm saying. So this is Dandy's World Trinket Trouble, based on the trinkets from Dandy's World. It's the second series that we have seen in Object Catcher do this because I have seen this series called Halo Trinkets, which had episode 1 release is probably actually inspired by this. So we're watching episode 1 released 8 months ago. Another day, another fun adventure. Let's go. Alright, I've just watched Dandy's World Trinket Trouble episode 1. Another day, another fun adventure. So that was interesting. We have a relatively short cast of characters, to be honest, if you think about it. Because 2 people were safe and 3 others are there. So that means that we have a pretty small down cast of characters here. But we end up having a couple of fellas. So they're all based on trinkets from Dandy's World. Now, again, as I will preface this entire series by saying, do I know about Nanny Mode? Yes, I do. I have played it a little bit, but I played it a little bit. Like, I don't even think I ever unlocked it too. Like, I understand the baseline concept of it and what the stuff is, but like in general, I don't. Like the any of inner workings are I'm pretty out of the loop on. But here we have a couple of trinkets available. We have a Vimo or V's remote, which is a remote for V, which is, a TV head character. So this is the remote for that. Then we have Bone, which is a bone. And then we have the other characters, which is Savory Charm, which is like one of those candy necklaces. For the Participation Award, which is that. And a Nightcap, which is, a nightcap. So we end up having here them introduced to us within the first minute. They're having a little bit of a conversation. I don't know what it is that the participation award isn't seeing. I don't know what disintegrates them, but that'd be pretty bad stuff. It might be. I wonder if it's the same video that they showed at Bone. Maybe it is the Dandy's World song. Then eventually 1% of Dandy research is collected, and Dandy plush pops out and hosts the competition. So gold stopwatch is the prize, and then we have our intro. It's a very high quality intro, The intros that are just smooth little transitions from thing to thing are always quite nice. So Yeah, Trinket Trouble logo, obviously based off of Dandy's World, but that's quite nice. Challenge is to extract the machines. This is a extremely simple challenge concept that everybody does for a reason, so that makes sense. Like I know that even Battle for Dandy's World, which I released recently, does that same challenge because it's easy. Nightcap and so well, participation where tries running to a machine, doesn't realize there's a guy, well, actually trips and then falls all the way down. Then V's remote just does it immediately, and then Bone wants to do it but can't get it himself, so they ask V's remote, who isn't like a guardian type character but just kind of like, okay, come on. So ends up throwing them, and eventually Nightcap falls off the stage, Kirby style, and then Bone fills it up. So good job, Bone. You have successfully used other people to your advantage. I love the transition. That transition into the voting screen. It's a great transition. It's super smooth. It makes perfect sense with the way that the show works. So it's great. It's great. That one is great. Absolutely. And then we have the people up for elimination. I don't know if who, like, is this a vote to eliminate or is this the vote to save? It's just a vote. I think it's a vote to eliminate. I think, but I don't know. I'll have to see. Eventually, the voting screen ends up closing off with a TV turning off, which I have debated if that has something to do with it, because we do see that we start up the intro by pressing on V's remote. So would it be playing on the TV, like on V? The show? That's an interesting little thing to think about. Okay, I don't know how V's remote works. I don't know. I'm just imagining it's a TV character and has a remote. That's what my knowledge goes, but give me vibes of a TV, so we'll have to see. Heading into episode 2 now, which is titled My Botanical Escapades Continue. Yippee, let's go. Okay, I have watched episode 2. You know, I kinda really like that. That was so fun. That was fun. That was funny. I liked it. Um so let me preface this by saying something, which I'm gonna forget later. So this show has no voice acting, which is different. It's something I very usually criticize. You know, I very often criticize shows when they don't have voice acting because it's like, yeah, I understand why you wouldn't, but at the same time, it's such a benefit that it'd be good. But like in this case, when like in the Dandy's World case, when I've seen these, I've usually not minded because it's just the style of the game. Right, the characters, they're speaking in the way the game speaks, right? So the fact that it's doing that is 100% okay with me, you know? Like that's what we're doing. We're doing a Dandy's World. This is in like it is an object show, right? We're talking about it here because it has objects and is a show, but like it's also more of a Dandy's World show, you know? So like in general, I think that it acting like Dandy will make perfect sense. They have a surprisingly good ability to draw over gifs. I can't even lie. Whether it's the beginning in microphone TikTok or the getting dunked on with Bone later on in the video, we're actually surprisingly good at that. But yeah, in general, I really like the joke of the intro because I was thinking about it when the intro played. That like you need the V's remote to be able to run the intro, which is really interesting. I mean, we got at that rate, you gotta hope that V's remote doesn't get eliminated, because if V's remote gets eliminated, you are cooked. No more intro, and the intro like really good. So what are you gonna do? So yeah, the challenge. Well, actually, we have the elimination. Then we got some comments, which are both about liking the intro. Then we play the intro again. Like that. That's the humor I enjoy. That's great. And then V's remote gets annoyed. So this is about to save, not about to eliminate, in which case the Night Hat gets out. That makes sense. They were technically the meaner character out of the three because they didn't let Bone put them in the elimination zone. Oh well, that's uh-oh. How dare you try to win? So yeah, they eventually get out. But what did they do? They freaking turn them into the Twisted Nightcap. So that's kind of crazy. Now, I love. Okay. Dude, the fact that you just turned Nightcap into the evil version, right? And this fella is so polite. They're just standing there. They're just standing there all infected, and they're like, okay, can I start murdering people now? Can I do that? Can I do that? Like, so can that was really funny. Like, freaking, can I start now? I found that really funny. And then eventually, yep, they do that. Bone gets tired after running a bit, gets absolutely dunked on. Then, for some reason, participation award, which dives off the cliff, doesn't gets back up, which was I mean, I don't know why you would do that. Because if you think about it, technically, participation award had a accidentally very good idea, because like that's what you do now. Surely, like, you try to get as much distance as possible. So by diving off a cliff, somehow you survive, right? Like, usually you wouldn't survive, and that's the problem. But in this case, you survive, right? So like, you would surely that would be good, right? Because that would mean that you get a lot of distance, and it's more likely for the twisted nightcap to be able to get to the other people before you, because you're farther away than everybody else. So going back didn't strike me as a good idea, and in fact, they get destroyed for it. So then the people hidden in a bush end up being left, which Nightcap successfully finds and absolutely eats. V's remote does not manage to get the candy, the sweet candy, to the candy bracelet, to be the one eliminated despite putting them in as a bait. So those three are up there for elimination. Who gets saved? I'd predict that. Would it be remote? No, be remote stay. I think Bone probably gets out, but like, or participation award. But participation award got the most votes the other time, so maybe this time they survive. I don't know. I don't know. These votes have so far been pretty hard to predict. I can't lie. But yeah, I enjoyed the jokes in this episode. It's just kind of been fun. Episode 3 now. You're really upsetting me now. Okay. All right, let's go. Hold on a minute. Okay, I've just watched episode 3. Hold on a minute. I swear to God, there were not shadows there before. I swear. At the outro. I swear to God, that TV screen, there were no shadows there. That's good stuff. That's good, right? That's a good detail. If people are showing up, that they show up like in an episode earlier with a shadow, that is good. Like that. Anyways, so we have another episode. Burn gets eliminated here with 1,800, which is a lot of votes to save if you think about it. When you started at the top and got 2,600, like, these votes have been good at being relatively even. No character has directly been a stood out in a negative sense. Like, oh yeah, you're obviously getting out. Like, in general, I think that it's been a relatively evened out set of votes. And while Bone got out, Bone still had a lot of support. But eventually ends up escaping. Now, I gotta say, one of the absolute things that I'm definitely admiring in the show is just, yeah, they're really good at like reanimating things, like tracing, in a sense, right? Like being able to recreate that BFDA 1A star, like all these gifts, like Kirby falling with a different character to getting dunked on in the ice, right? Like all of these different things, they're just amazing at it, it's just very good. So they're taking a lot of advantage of it by playing a bunch of TikToks and stuff as jokes. But like, you know what? If it works, it works. We have an entire animation being set in the middle. I don't know why the idea was to um grab to like Bone is right there, fallen on the floor. You could just grab him, and you would like, no, I have to do a dance. What? Just grab me. They're on the floor. Just they're right there. Just grab them. Did you not see Nightcap? Did you not see evil Nightcap? Okay, I feel like I don't understand how the evil people work. Because, like, the Twisted fellas, they were just chilling. I thought a Twisted was, like, evil. You know? I thought that was, like, I thought it was, they were, like, friggin', like, mind screw. They're, like, possessed. Not possessed. What the hell is the word? I thought they were like they had like corrupted minds, like they go like, I want blood and stuff. But like these two, they're so nice in their like crazy form. They're just chilling. Like they eventually get turned back, but like I don't know what's going on with that. Like I thought that it was like a bad thing, but nah, they're just relaxing. I find it funny how this is the longest episode when there's technically no challenge. Um, so after Bone escapes again, they get caught by some other trinkets that were chilling. Bow tie, pink bow, bandana or blue bandana, and then Brick end up catching them. They end up giving them off, and the challenge wasn't the challenge. The challenge is to apparently get a toy kit, but that's not the challenge because now the recommended characters have it, and they strike a deal. One of us joins your game, and we'll give you it. So they are there. We have the three characters: Pink Bow, which it just likes running. Cool. Blue Bandana, which is like, I'm okay. You can do whatever you want. And then there's Brick that freaking shoots the screen, dude. And then immediately it fades out. That's dude. I mean, I hope Brick gets in for that because that's iconic. That's iconic, alright. I need Brick to get in ASAP. So yeah, the voting is there again. Who? I mean, I don't know. I genuinely don't know who's getting. Maybe Pink Bow probably gets in. It's my prediction for who gets in because they helped find Bow and stuff, and they made the deal. They have the toy kit like in their hand, so I think that's probably what they want. But I would hope Brick joins because I think that was really funny. But yeah, bro, who's that in the back? I'm trying to figure out their shapes because I kind of know what the Dandy's World Twins look like. Dude, it's that candy one. Oh my god, what the hell are you called? You're like the candy fella. You're like the roller or the Rolo. you know? um. Oh god damn it! I don't remember. This is so sad. You're not. I think one of them is like Astro. Yeah, because you have like the like this like the nightcap within you. So I think one of them's Astro. But then as a thing, I don't see who is. Hold on, I have a list. Bassie? That what you called? No, different one. No, Cosmo. Cosmo. Yes, exactly. The freaking yeah, because you're a Cosmo, like a pastry, like a Cosmo roll, right? That's the thing, right? Like a Cosmo. No, Cosmopolitan. Cosmo roll. Is that not a thing? I think whatever. um. Yeah. Let's watch episode 4 now. I've got him hella sidetracked. Let's go. I'm starting to realize how this 6 episode show has like how many episodes? A lot of them. I was like 9 episodes, yeah, because it's supposedly 5. Because this is another no elimination episode. Fat Danny was just says no. I haven't, I have been refusing the usage of the word yeah that they've been using here for quite a bit. But I do gotta point out this time that they are saying it a lot. I don't know why there doesn't even make sense within the sentences, but sure, I guess if you want. Um, now here. So Brick has run out of pop, which is apparently necessary. So they need to go do this. Freaking the participation trophy does a participation like, yo, you're doing it. You're gonna do it, and then they get shot, which I agree. Um, so then they need to go to the Pingbo warehouse to get it. Dude, I fucking the joke of the car just crashing out completely with the TV remote, right? And then when they go back, like the other fella drives, the bandana drives, and then like it ends up being exactly the same shot, but like in reverse. It's still hilarious. Like none of them can drive. But Pingbo ran out of stock, so they sold the pop to Savory Charm. Savory Charm is just very very, very, just sort of that character that makes the world spin round. Always the cause of everything. Like the only reason that those characters show up is because Savory Charm was with them. They bought the last pop from Savory Charm. Savory Charm is just sort of existing while nobody notices. They're just sort of they're doing their thing. Nobody's noticing, and yeah. Um, uh, for some reason, Pingbo gets left with the tablet, which I mean is interesting. Then eventually they trade the med. No, not the. Was it the med kit? It was the freaking the kit thing that would Dandy wanted for Savory Charm pop, and now they feed the brick, which stops being Ultra Omega Evil and instead becomes normal again. Participation trophy is back because it refused, which is like it's an Undertale joke indeed. I like that one. That was nice. It's easy to notice, but when you do, it's like aha. And then they wait for Dandy's World. But then that means that there's no voting for this episode because, yeah, So we end up just having the fade out. Yet again, there are in fact more people around the back here. One of them, the one with the bow tie, and another one. Who's the other one? I don't know. I don't know. What they have like fluffy hair. I'm bad at these because I am not one of the people. I out of the things I know, yet again, this is not one of the ones which I am very good at. Is being able to tell you then these world things. One of them Poppy. Yeah, Poppy is probably one of them, right? Because of the bow tie. And then I could not tell you who the other one is. Just like not even remotely. Yeah, generally, I mean, I've looked at the list here. I don't know. Just like straight up, I do not know who that would be. Bro, who has that? I don't know. Do other people appear? A few others, I think, pop walk into. No, they don't walk into frame. The other ones leave. So yeah, the tunes they're just taking a look at the screen. I don't know if they're like watching the show or whatever. Maybe they're cheering them on. I wonder if V's like, yeah, go remote. Maybe they're cheering them on. Maybe it's like the audience. The audience is watching and it's like, yeah, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna guess is that Episode 5 is titled Where Were We? Let's go. Okay, I just watched episode 5. Where were we? So the competition's back. So we find out what's going on with Pinkbo. Shop Pinkbo is using the tablet for inventory, no nefarious purposes. And then proceeded to give it back to them. So we end up then having the rejoining thing. Now we end up. Oh yeah, the intro. The intro gets activated by a gunshot. Which is certainly interesting. This intro is getting activated in a bunch of ways. Yeah, this intro is good. It is a bit of a situation. So there is like this thing going on where like the intro's good, but the show isn't according to a lot of people. So okay, all right. Now let's talk about this for a moment. So this tweet that gets shown on screen. First of all, I'm just pointing out how much focus this show is putting on what people think of it is maybe unhealthy. Like like I get that we're making fun of it in a way, but like it does sometimes feel like when you're incorporating the negative feedback literally physically into the show, maybe it's a little bit weird. But at this point, I'm scared. Oh no, am I gonna be in the show accidentally? Am I gonna be here? But nah. Basically, this tweet is interesting. Art is bland, writing's uneventful, the jokes are just borderline unfunny. The intro is the only thing about the show, and it's extremely apparent. Yeah, no, I think one of the things that I have to say is like sometimes why tweet that stuff? It's like why tweet that stuff if you think about it? Because like it's so negative. It's so negative. Because like what's the point? What's the point of just going like, yo, your show writing is on a right? The worst show, the worst one. Like, what is the point of saying that? the people. Like it's not like it's so weird sometimes, in my opinion, like these types of opinions. So that's absolutely crazy to me that people even say that, because I am given opinions, and there have been certain times where I have been negative to shows, right? I've like called them out on certain things because, well, because I try to be constructive. I try to be like, what is going on? Why is the writing uneventful, right? Like in the same way. But like in this show, I kind of disagree. I understand the jokes because, like, to be fair, we are doing a lot of I guess the same style of jokes here. Like, we're doing a lot of jokes that are sort of meme based. We're rotoscoping a lot. Like, we're doing a lot of that, to be honest, with various TikToks and stuff and jokes. But as far as the jokes, like, so that stuff is okay. I like it when it's like an enhancement to original joke. When it is the joke itself, like for example the one early in this episode of the door or the doorbell, that was like meh, because it's like that's the joke itself is that it's a rotoscope gif. But like when it's a show itself, and I don't know, like somebody gets slapped and drops down, it's like, okay, that's cool. Especially like that, the cliff is like the only thing in the freaking environment, and so like everybody falls down it all the time. But I understand why you wouldn't like the jokes in the show. I don't personally mind them, but I do see, especially like at this point in time where episode 5 is, I wouldn't understand it. But if it's like the final episode, we're still doing the same thing, I can understand it. But I do see stuff is evolving, stuff's happening. Um, and yeah, the rejoin ends up being Brick by double over Blue Bandana, which I'm very satisfied to see, because I mean, as far as the convincingness of the initial of the clips, Brick was definitely the best. I mean, just shoot the screen, holy fuck, right? Like that's kind of crazy. So good job. Pinkbo and Blue Bandana go disappear to the business. They end the freaking car gif again. There's a there's a point where something becomes overused, but that's not it. I just think that's funny. I can't even lie. Um, and the fellas get eliminated. So the challenge is to give this medkit, and we have an absolutely crazy battle here between the what do you call, the savory treats, and nobody and everybody else. Just absolutely crazy. It's an interesting thing. I think that there maybe is too many angles. I will debate. Like, the camera switches angles, I think, a bit too many times. So sometimes it's a little bit weird to see like, you don't see the action as well because there's so many camera switches. Like, I'm just looking at it. There's got to be at least 15 in this span of time. So I'd maybe like have one longer shot. But it does look cool. It is cool, and it is glad that we do end up happening. Danny Plus saying, I guess he's safe. Look, you gotta see if you're safe. At that point, I don't even know. I'm telling you, bro. This fucking savory sweets fella, they're the one that make the world spin round. Like, everybody's talking except them, but they're the one who do the challenges. They're the one who talk. They're the one that are for real about this shit. You know, like everybody out here joking around, playing games and stuff. Like, this is the stuff. That fella does not play, and they haven't been up for Elam in a while. Who gets eliminated? Well, this is a to save. So, I mean, Weezer Mo is such an important character in the sense that they just have the intro. Like, they possess the intro. That's the important thing about them. And the intro is, like, for some reason the must be part of it. So I'm gonna say participation award or brick? Participation, no, brick. Brick. I think Brick gets out. I don't know. I don't know. I generally have no idea. These votings have been good at making me not know who's coming in. Like, to be fair to them, they've made it a good split selection. All right, let's go. Episode 6. You're making a big mistake. Hello, I've just watched episode 6 now. I think that's Dandy themselves, no? Looking at the TV screen here. Now that's interesting. I didn't point out last episode because, like, I don't know who it is, but that just looks like Dandy. That's crazy. All right, so we have here another episode. Are they getting longer? No, they're relatively the same. I mean, the relative length is longer. I'm very surprised that these remote got eliminated. I can't even lie. I'm shook. Really? But like, they got eliminated by so little. They got eliminated by 200, which is crazy. Or did they tie? Wait, did they tie? Oh shit! Breaking thing and participation trophy tied at 1884. That's crazy. No, what? Whoa, that's crazy. But that means that yeah, that vote was so close. Cause I was thinking about it like last time, and I was like, "Yo, who the hell gets voted out here?" Like it's a super tight vote. And yeah, indeed, nobody knew what to vote, and Peter Moses ended up getting the short end of the stick. So, uh, eventually, yeah, we end up having more of a show happen. So the final three, apparently there's no challenge. Apparently it's just simply a vote to win and all that stuff. Everybody was dead, but Savory Charm fixed them up because remember, Savory Charm is the thing that makes the world spin round. I'm telling you, bro, this this guy is too good. They do everything that happens in this show is this fella, and nobody notices. It's always them, though. We have a new intro, apparently scanned by V's remote. Uh, So we get this intro with Brick now added onto it. The Brick section feels pretty nice. I'm glad that they did add Brick to the intro, considering A, the intro apparently is the most popular part of the show, and B, I always find it weird when an intro and then there's a new character, but then the intro doesn't update because like you gotta update the intro. There's a new character in town, like you just gotta, right? So we have the host, which apparently their tag is gone. So yeah, but they get given back by a shipper, and then it's a literal ship. Like it's more like a no, it's not a ship. It's like a boat. This is like a boat, but you get shipper because it's sailing the seas, you know. So yeah, the V remote who pops out to pop in a public service announcement. Shippers are okay, just don't be weird. And you know what? I agree. I talked about this during the Nolla section, okay? That shipping is like personally I won't ever see it as a thing, but a lot of people do. But I think that like calling just two characters who are in a friendship and they just oh no gotta be is baiting and all that stuff, yeah, that's pretty bad. So I thought about that in the knowledge section, and somehow there has so shockingly there has actually been a correlated thing between this show and the knowledge short film. But I'm shook. But yeah, eventually the idea is to beat up the fella. We have some stuff. The savory charm, apparently the shovel that they beat them up with is a reference to something. I don't know what. I don't know. This get me thinking that maybe the fight scene is. I'm like, is it rotoscoped? Like, in the sense that, like, is it a unique fight scene or is it taken from something? Is that what's going on? Because that was the one last time as well. So maybe they were taking from. You can't ever trust this show too much because this show, of course, takes a lot of liberty in use in like doing other people like taking stuff like animation. Me like just earlier right before the scene we have the participation trophy with the what is it called, Okage meme or whatever, right? So like there's a lot of time where we are doing that, so it is possible that maybe this fight scene is in custom. Well, regardless of if it is originally like storyboarded or not, or if it's taken from another show, it's very good either way, whether it's reanimated or it's an original. It does a very good job, and they get absolutely destroyed. I mean, that freaking final death shot of just getting shot and them ripping apart at the black and white, it's amazing. Again, if it's original, it's great. If it's not original, it's still reanimated pretty well. Then we get into the voting screen. Who you want to win? I must say, I am finding it suspicious that next episode should be the finale when there's there's like two more. So, I guess we'll have to find out who's going to win here. My prediction on the win is Participation Award. I think Participation Award, more than the other characters, represents a little bit what this show is trying to be. and usually I feel like a winner a lot of the time is a good is like a character that ends up being sort of a representation for what the show is, and just the way that participation trophy kind of acts silly, does silly jokes, right? Is one of the most rotoscope characters and stuff. I think that they represent the show in a way, so I would probably expect them to win, if that makes any sense. All right. Episode 7 is titled Get Back to Work. Okay. Ooh. All right. So that's episode 7, or is it an episode? There's no way this counts as its own episode. Make this like a 6.5 or something. You can't just put this as its own episode and make it a mandatory watching experience. Oh, so you see that one time I delayed the show that you're now not in part watching in real time, because it's like, I'm watching this from the future, so the amount of time between episodes doesn't matter to me. Why am I watching the fucking apology video? Yo, my bad for delaying it. I had to grind Dandy's World Masteries, which as far as I've seen, I'm sorry, I hit my phone, which also like, which take like 1 million years, so I couldn't make the show that gets me 1 billion views. Like, it's just, bro, there's no way this has to be a mandatory video to watch. I don't mind it necessarily, but make it a 6.5 at the very least. There's no way this deserves an episode number, Like, this is not, it's like, this is not an episode. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for saying it. It's not an episode. This is a short, more or less. Like, it's just not. This is not it. All right. It's fine. It's not episode 7. It's episode 6.1. Like, it's just what. All right. I don't know if that clip was from them, but if it is, then fair enough. GG on getting such a clip. Time for the finale, titled "Those Tapes Belong to Me." Let's go. And there it is, the finale of Trinket Trouble. Well, season 1, I guess. Now I think about it, I don't know what the other seasons are, but this is episode 8. So, well, first of all, we get Dandy's plush bringing back everybody, just sort of re-grabbing them. To be honest, bringing the fellas back. The one that was in the timeout corner, that Bone that was in the timeout corner, listen to the song forever. It ends up being they're just completely like gone a lot, but yeah, rehabilitation. Apparently, by dancing, you can officially teleport to wherever you want. So they ended up doing that. So good job on them for managing to dance through it. We get to hear not save it, like Trink. Bro, how do I say not have how do I still not have the names of these bloody people done correctly? How do I still not have it? Like, that is genuinely crazy. All right. So yeah, the Savory Charm, yeah, it's up screaming for the first time I get to hear him. Everybody decides the Savory Charm should win. Yeah, Savory Charm is just chilling. Like, just kind of the way that Savory Charm just kind of exists and ends up just being doing everybody needs. Like, they connected the world. But correctly, I managed to guess that participation award wins. Yeah, they represent the show. The people who watch it, their favorite characters would be participation award for sure. So I absolutely see why they would win. There's like nothing good about the prize, to be honest. And then the show ends, and yes, it was made predictable. But yes, the tunes, they're watching the show episode by episode. Let's go. That's so cool, though. That's like fire. That's so good. That I love that concept where it's like the trinkets, they got like owners and shit. So Shelly Trinket wins. I don't know who the hell, like, why is my trinket aggressive? What is your trinket? Because who's aggressive? Because no, what? Because Brick is from Shimbro, so that's the aggressive one. So who who's like the you know like who's the other one? Like I'm not understanding that, to be honest. 'Cause like, the aggressive one, who's aggressive? Just Savory Charm. No, it's not Savory Charm, bro. Huh? What is your trinket? You see, this is what I mean. I don't have that knowledge. That knowledge, I don't have it. That's kind of the thing. That is like I don't oof, you know. So to be honest, I don't know. I'm really trying to search, bro. It's no one, right? Surely. 'Cause Bone is Pebble, yeah. Reason are obviously. What? Am I blind? Hold on. Am I blind? You do not have a trinket. Wait, or is the toy kit the trink? No, no, because that's an event. Wait, bro, bro, bro. Moment. How? Why am I not able to do this? Can't figure it out. So hold on. Oh no, it is Savory Charm. Okay, never mind. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay, all right. I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I'm dumb. My apologies. I would like to do an apology video. The better than the one that the fella made. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, it's Savory Charm. They're not that aggressive. I mean, I guess they're. No, they're probably more aggressive than the Astral Sprout. But yeah, it's not. Apparently the show's cancelled, but they're just digging through the stuff. I find it interesting that it's like V's show in a way. Because I mean, it makes sense because V's remote is such an integral part of it. But I find it interesting how like V sort of produced it in a sense. Because I guess they're the TV. I guess that's their job in a way. Make TV shows and stuff. So that's interesting. And then they get to the floor and they all leave away. And then we have some credits with a song from Persona. Some pretty solid credits. I enjoyed to seeing the trinkets all um running around. The nightcap sleeping, the participant award yapping, and the bone running around. So yeah, that's all. That's all very cute, to be honest. So what did I think of this season? This season was good. Personally, in my opinion, I do see why people dislike it. To be honest, because I understand that it's a bit different than your traditional object show. It's got itself a lot of like the jokes that it uses. If they don't land, they really don't land for somebody. Like me personally, if a show just wants to say like yeah or whatever brainrot word you need, right? Like sure, like I'm just gonna sort of gloss over it. Like I'm gonna gloss over the part that like it doesn't really matter, but sure, right? And so I just gloss over those actions. Because like it's not that big of a deal. I mainly focus on the important stuff, and the important stuff I think is pretty solid. Even if like some jokes I think are maybe we overuse the rotoscoping? Nah, we did like okay with it, to be honest, but it's fine. I like the concept, and I really like the fact that that the tunes were like actually watching the show. I think that's a really cool idea. And I'm glad that like we got it like hinted at for like many episodes now, because like you could tell like, oh yes, that was the concept itself. Like that's fire. um but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to find out what is gonna be next by watching the second season. Now the second season um is titled Holiday Hustle. All right, so we are going to be starting the Holiday Hustle with episode 1, which is titled Nicely Wrapped Up for the Holidays. Okay, it is already longer than every episode of Trinket Trouble. So, alright then. Let's see what we've got in store. Let's watch it. We'll talk all about it and all of that good stuff. Let's go. Alright, I have watched Trinket Trouble Holiday Hustle. So we have another little set of trinkets from the hit video game on Roblox, Dandy's World, here again. Now, who is our selection this time? We start off with peppermint icing. I have them listed here. That's how I know their names. Actually, I don't even know their names. I need to find them. um, peppermint icing, which ends up pairing up with the scrapbook as a team. Yeah, because they end up pairing up into duos, which is interesting how they're getting paired up into duos. It's, I think it's probably because I'm expecting it to be maybe like double them. I'm probably expecting it to be double elimination for that reason. But yeah, they're all hanging out doing the stuff. The Easter fellas, which are flipping radar and who and scrapbook are there just for warmth. They're just in the toy box, which fair enough. It's cold, I guess. You know, it's snowy and all that stuff. So yeah, we do have a switch up in music for the other music. Then we have the flower fella, which what are you called? You're called the whispering flower. You're one flower, right? Or are you two? No, you're two flowers. You're two people. Okay, interesting. But one of them speaks. I think the one with the eye mainly. Then we have a baggie, which is a glazed fondant bag apparently. So fair enough. Which seems to be the more social one, to be honest, out of them. Cole is kind of like that more brick style character, is kind of, sort of upset all the time. Meanwhile, so is this fella. What are you? The Festivalize? Oh, the Festivalize. Oh, wow. That's a good design. And then Toy Box. It's interesting to see the toy kit, like, actually as a character, considering it was more so of a thing in the other season, right? It's more so of a tool, but now it's like a proper kit, it's a proper character. I mean, have the characters. What are my opinions on them? I like them, to be honest. I like quite a few of them. None of them are pretty crazy. So there's a good opportunity here for things to happen. Oh, and the teams that form end up being pretty solid as well. The joke with freaking Danny getting thrown straight at Cole, so it's accidentally a kiss, is so dumb. But you know what? You know your audience. You know your damn audience, so sure, why not? The prize ends up being that. I don't know what the prize is. It's like some candy, probably a good one. But I thought the gold sawbush was gonna be good, and then it was bad. So, maybe not. But eventually, they end up battling for it. We end up having ourselves a new intro. It's pretty cool, and it's a good intro. It's better than the other one. It rolls by a bit faster. But in general, it is quite solid. So shout out to the intro, the I don't intro gaming. So then these are the pairs. Apparently they're based on rarities, because I see that in the final voting screen it ends up being main, rare, and common. I don't know what the pairing that one is. I have no idea what the trinket rarities are. You see, these are the types of specifics where I'm like, I don't know. I know the baseline of the game. I don't know the specifics of anything. So, like rarities and stuff, and why this is a coincidence, I just could not tell you, to be honest. But then we head into the challenge to protect the art pieces. Lovely idea, by the way, because it features fan art, which is cool, but it appreciates it so much that it actively incorporates it as the challenge, which I really enjoy. Um, so then the scrapbook team with the freaking peppermint icing ends up choosing to do nothing. You know what? Can you believe it? That was my idea as well. Like, as soon as I saw the challenge, I was like, try to protect it, don't do anything. You know, it's like one of those epic vases, like, you know, those ultra vases stuff. Like, if you try to build like a box around it, it's not gonna work. You're just gonna like bump into it, and then it's gonna like fall off, and then it's broken. Right? Like, sometimes the best thing you can do is literally just nothing. Because if you think about it, the art isn't gonna fall off on its own. Something will need to happen. So that means that if you just don't do anything, it will eventually just get out on its own, which is pretty solid. I'm a fan of that idea. So I'm glad that somebody did it, because you know, all the other teams proceed to do random bullshit and rightfully get destroyed for it. So yeah. I like the designs of the trinkets themselves, although it is possibly it's a bit weird to judge the design considering like technically it's already been designed for you in a way, right? But like the designs, they're pretty solid, you know, like they're relatively consistent to each other and stuff. So the tactic is the fondant bag is reading the art a bedtime story, and it does seem to be working. It's sleeping, but I guess it snores or something and it ends up falling apart. So yeah, that makes sense. I did not like the story. Also, were you reading a bedtime story? How were you reading a bedtime story if we didn't see the text box? I'm just saying. I'm just saying we should have seen the text box like once upon a time, whatever, you know, like I think that would have been more correct because, you know, we would have seen you read the bedtime story. So you said you were reading it. You didn't technically read it, just saying. Then Scrapbook ends up just absolutely trying to cause havoc, and in fact, they cause a lot of havoc. The art is on fire because Radar puts it on fire to warm it up, and then while the Christmas lights try to put it off, they immediately demolish the art in the process. Which, when that was 100% not necessary. But hey, I mean, Scrapbook took it as an absolute opportunity. I mean, the goal was to sabotage. We sabotaging, so that makes sense. But the art itself spoke to the radar and was like, yes, thank you. So, you know what? I definitely appreciate it. They end up leaving. Then the toy box ends up wrapping it up in a present. That makes sense. With the flower. Then, however, that doesn't work because, you know, Scrapbook is busy sabotaging all the other teams. And you know what? They do a freaking great job. Everything is on fire except for, well, doing nothing. I like how the peppermint says yo. So good job to that art for winning. Um, they do a pretty good job at that. And then they're up for elimination. Main, rare, or common. Which duo do I like less? I would probably have eliminated the rare duo. Because the rare duo is, I guess, just mildly less interesting. Because I like the toy box. The toolbox. And I like the radar and the Christmas lights. I really don't want common to leave, but I think I can, especially because Cole just isn't that interesting with the whole like they don't speak, but which on its own is fine, but they don't speak and they don't want to do anything ever. So it just means that they're a character that just sits there. So I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. So I do eliminate the rare pairing. I like the glaze fondant bag, but you gotta get rid of it. And then we get to see the real world again out of the TV. I freaking love this. Like real, like the show is a show, and then we get to see them. Anyway, the Christmas ornament and or whatever. I don't know what I don't know whatever name that would possibly be. What could you be possibly called? I don't even know. Like you could like I don't know. It's somebody. So they end up leaving because the holiday season is gonna end, but because you know the holiday event is gonna end, so it's gonna be time for the Easter event soon. Dad is pretty happy about that. Then eventually Dandy comes in and is like, "Yo, give this thing, please." And when I leave, the thing says TT2, which would realistically maybe mean uh freaking Trinket Trouble 2, because Trinket Trouble True 2, like, this was a thing that we saw the other time. By the way, Boba is the one who I was hosting the store, so that's good to know. Because we did see that tape of Trinket Trouble 2 be in V's hand in the finale. So I saw that and I was gonna point it out as a potential, okay, is this a hint to the sequel, that there's a sequel tape, so there's gonna be a sequel? Because this is not the sequel, it's a holiday thing. So that is the idea. However, the thing about it is just that I thought it was just the episode number, because they had a TD1 and TD2. I just thought like each tape was its own episode, like it wasn't the full season. But no, I think it's that is season 2 or something. So the idea is that we're giving the tape of season 2 to Boba for some reason, and Dandy will be doing that. I don't. They're on a bad rapport with V. I don't know why, but like, look, a lore that I don't know of. All right, so yeah, that's I think what I've got to say here for Holiday House episode 1. It's pretty nice. I'm a fan of the cast. Time for episode 2, which is titled "Packaged with Care." All right, then let's go. Alright, that was episode 2 of the DW Trinket Trouble Holiday Hustle. Tonight we truzzle, like bone trouser. Look, it just sounded like it would have been a good way to freestyle. And in fact, I think it would have. I'm just bad at freestyling. So this episode is much more of what the show has been at its heart in terms of humor, in terms of jokes, in terms of just events, right? It's a lot of the same of that, to be honest. It's very much so a callback. Episode 1, I thought, was way more unique in the way that it felt similar, but it didn't do a lot of those old things. It had new jokes and stuff, which I found more interesting. But in this case, this episode very much so very throwback. The challenge is the same, nearly. Well, it's a spin, but it's like a 3-degree spin. Like it's like when you spin the bottle and it lands like 3 degrees west. Like it's not really. It doesn't change that much, right? And there's a lot of the same things. We have rotoscoping gifs for the gags. We have some we just have memes and stuff. We have the elimination with the same concept, reading the votes, and yet again the challenge itself is also quite similar. We have the random musical piece, right? Random memes and stuff, and like in general, it's just quite similar, to be honest. So this is what the show already got also criticized for, which does make me think, well, we could be veering away from those maybe. However, at the end of the day, it's popular for it, so I don't really mind. Personally, I prefer episode 1, but this episode is also perfectly fine. So, eliminated is in fact the duo of Cole and Baggy. We probably won't get to see any more Cole Dandy plush interactions, which is probably for the better. To be honest, that's probably for the betterment of the world. Because I don't know, Cole was kind of cooked there. Baggy also ends up getting out. You see, even stuff like the Dandy crying gift, like if I'm not mistaken, is exactly the same, right? So yeah. Then the pairs, then the 3 volunteers of the pairs, Scrapbook, Radar, and Toy Box, end up turning into the twisted variants of themselves, which are very simple. Don't murder your guy, your teammate, and then you'll be fine. And it's like it's so weird. I don't know how the infected people work. I just don't. Because it's like, what is their like beliefs, like like how do they work? Because they're not just like murder machines, but they can murder, like they can get them apparently. So I don't know. Like Scrapbooks fella super chill, so they end up playing games of bets. Eventually the Christmas they're not called the festive lights, right? The festive lights end up trying to use the whole untwisting. However, unfortunately, the radar is too good for it, and they end up exploding. Which, yeah, that happens. Sometimes, I mean, I'm curious what's going on with them. I didn't really talk about Festival Lights too much in episode one, but yeah, Festival Lights is in fact interesting because they're the character that knows about the show. They're kind of like they give off vibes of like Fan from II or whatever, where like they're talkative and they like talk about the show a lot. You know, they talk about the show. It's like yes, you know, and it's like you can tell a lot for those initial interactions because like the music is here. There's like no, I've not heard the music, but it's like no, I've heard the music a lot. It's getting tiring because yeah, it is if you're watching at home like they are. So I think it's interesting. It also implies that the show exists within their own universe beyond as well. Like, I mean, of course, the show exists in their own universe, but like it's a show also in their universe, and it's not just a thing that only we can watch, but they don't think it's a show, whatever. Right? So there's something. They also apparently troll the freaking whispering flower by saying just dance, which is a thing that you can do. They do end up dancing. It doesn't really work. They end up actually getting quite heated. Um, so, oh, actually no, the trinket. Wait, the Festival don't die. Oh no, yeah, they get chased by a truck because Asgore meme. Okay, but basically, so I'll be honest. I originally thought they intended the dancing strategy that was used in the finale. Because remember, in the finale, the blue bandana and the pink bow end up getting to the elimination lounge by doing the little dance and teleporting. That would have worked if you think about it, right? Because you can do 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 do, and then like you end up in the other side of the world. So you can just escape. That would be, in my opinion, a pretty solid way to do it if that method works. Or look. I'm gonna suggest stuff that might work within the universe. If it's like no, that was the one time gag. Okay, sure, but I'm still gonna point out that it exists and it was there. So it is how it is. And then meanwhile, the teams that are playing bets, they're being relatively chill until we eventually go like, you can't speak Japanese, which unfortunately was incorrect. Then I get pushed back and get destroyed by a truck. Technically, I'm just gonna say it. Technically, it was the truck who killed the peppermint icing, right? Which should mean that if the challenge was to not get murdered by your own teammate, if you go get murdered by somebody else, you shouldn't be up for elimination. I'm just saying. Okay, I get it. It's being pedantic, but sometimes with object shows, you gotta be pedantics, alright? So, you just gotta take advantage of that. Anyways, everybody ends up being dead. Like, just everybody dies. So then Dandy's push ends up just leaving and putting everybody up for elimination. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense. I would have made the uncommon team safe, in my opinion, because it's like, bro, we they did the best job out of them. Like the peppermint icing. Again, in this time, it doesn't work just about, right? But like in general, peppermint icing has this way of just managing to coast along, being completely omega chill, right? Just chilling, just chilling, and then just gets by. Like as far as competitors that are strong competitors, they are absolutely amazing at it because like because they just do the stuff that they need to do, the minimum that they need to do it, which is nice considering like again these is the shows where absolute chaos happens as soon as somebody breathes. So like doing this strategy which is not doing that much, like instead of trying to run away or to escape or doing chaos, just talk to scrapbook, go, yo, you good? All right, let's chill. And then it's like same to go with the thing, yo, we here, all right, then not do anything, do I think, however, I do think they're probably getting out. I can't lie. I think they're probably out. Or the common team's out. Yet again, I don't think the toy box team's out. I think that team's chilling. But I do think that the uncommon team's gonna be out here, which is unfortunate because I do like the two of them. I think they're my favorite duo. But I think they're probably gone in this case, which is a rip. But I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping the common team gets out because I really doubt that the main team gets out because it's toy box. And they were fun. But I think the uncommon team's out, which would be omega sad, even though they got pretty close. Then eventually we have the post-credit scene, which I never talked, which I didn't talk about. Apparently, the Christmas fellas which is I don't know, Bubette and somebody else, ends up just kind of chilling, waiting until the next year, until the next holidays for them to come back. They just kind of chill, watching the tapes, watching the season, and they're gonna watch season 1 next. I must say it's a little bit weird that we're watching the holiday special up to episode 2, and now we're watching season 1. I'm just saying that that's a bit of a I don't know about that order. That order not making much sense to me. I can't lie. But now it's time for episode 10. Oh, no. Now it's time for episode 3, which is the only episode to have crossed the 10-minute mark in history. Alright then, let's watch it. Alright, that was episode 3 of the Trinket Trouble, called Glad That's Finished. So, we get ourselves an elimination here after the little show, which begins. I like the intro starting being just like Dandy Plush gets beat up over whatever random shit. In this case, it's be bad at a show, but like, I like how that's happening because like it happens more naturally. It's a more natural intro transition than there was the other time. Even though did find it kind of funny that the other transition is completely just interesting because it requires a contestant, but yeah, it was definitely kind of interesting. I like this one, the way it transitions into the intro. But they have the elimination. Well, first we actually turned into Twisted Dandy for some reason. So yeah, the tape count I think is going down. So but it's fine. But this still gets tons. 1,700 votes. That's Gucci. And they're spread so evenly. You see 600, 500, no, 630, 570, and 503. That's such like to be fair, this is one thing that this show does quite damn well. It does not have a favorite. Like that's kind of the interesting thing about the show. There's no favorite. Like there's almost never a character just like, yeah, this is the one. You know? Like it's really interesting how there just isn't. That's just not a thing. Like everybody's super close. And by the way, yes, like the fellas, the gals, the boys, the duo of the uncommons, they're real. You know, they're safe. I thought they were cooked, but they're safe. The best duo ever. And then the main duo of Toy Box, yeah, as expected, they're safe. So then that means that the radar and the festive lights are out. Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that the festive. I thought the festive lights had some interesting things going on. You could make some interesting with the festive lights, but the radar kind of threw that last challenge. Kind of like, to be honest, like there was a bit of a throw going on. We made more Forsaken references. It is another Roblox game, so fair enough. Then Train Whistle, if I'm not mistaken, the other lethal trinket, according to the list I have here, shows up chained up, and they cannot host. So the challenge is to stay away from them. Uh and then there's a compass pointing to where the Andy plush is. So what is the challenge? Hold on. So the challenge is to stay away from a guy who's chained up and can't move. That's the challenge? Like, but then everybody just ends up getting in the car and just driving. I like how they call Toy Box fat. But then end up just driving, taking a trip, chilling. It's like the easiest challenge of all time. Um Yet another challenge where peppermint icing just chills. The amount of things in this season that peppermint icing has done is so little. Like peppermint icing has barely moved, or had to move. Do any type of physical thing because it's just challenge 1, do nothing. Challenge 2, sit down and talk to the fella that's twisted. And challenge 3, sit in the back of a van. Right? Like it's so easy. To be fair. And look, she knows. So absolute GG's to that. For peppermint icing, knowing what it takes, and what it takes is not that much. So absolutely has got the game down. Probably the character I want to win, because absolutely just has this game down, knows what is necessary, doesn't do anything extra, and just in general, yeah, just kind of just has the game on lock, and I think definitely deserves it. And Vam and Scrapbook are just a chill duo, you know. We get to see a bunch of them adventuring and stuff. Then, so what is going on with these dates? Again, they know the audience, so I understand why we're doing this. I don't know what is going on within it. Like, is Cole actually care at all? I cannot figure it out. Apparently, Cole has makeup on, so maybe it implies that there was a little bit of effort put in. I can't really tell. And they did point out a question mark when they said something. So when Dandy Plus said I eat dirt, so maybe there is there's an attempt. Train whistle somehow gets out, stealing a police van. However, unfortunately, they do happen to get freaking the rocket launched, which I do enjoy the existence of, because it's a Roblox thing. Roblox. Don't forget your roots. This is a Roblox game where at the end of the day, we're doing a show that's about things on Roblox. So, yep, rocket launcher, fire, and then, yeah, eventually they just win. So they just made it. Both teams end up automatically up for elimination because, you know, they're just, like, they finish the challenge at the same time. They overall just cooperate in a way that's interesting. Yeah, because the thing about these four is that, there's nothing to even remotely suggest that they would have any beef. Like, maybe Festive Lights would have had beef, or Radar, or whatever, or like Cole, maybe. But, these four, they've got no beef. Scrapbook and Peppermint Icing are chilling, and they just get along. Like, they just get along naturally pretty well with Toy Box, is pretty relaxed. And the Whispering Flower is also pretty relaxed. So just a relaxed set of four characters. There's not too much drama going on in this set. So yeah, that definitely makes sense. You know what I've been trying to imagine? What the hell would the toy kit even sound like? Because I've been trying to, because the way that toy kit, the text boxes are written, make it sound like the idea that she has an accent, but I have no idea what it would be. So I've been trying to imagine what she might sound like. I don't know. If you have any ideas on what toy kit I would sound like if voice acted, let me know. Because I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out, but it's a big old mystery, right? So unfortunately, Dandy's plush says a brain rot word. No, and then Charles, the internet debater, is disappointed and leaves. I don't know. This is so dumb that it's funny. Look, I don't, look, whatever. At least we're using the negative press that you got for being like, bro, this show just brain rot, whatever. And we are doing it positively, we're twisting it into a joke, which is nice. I enjoy it. Absolutely. I think it's cool, to be honest. I think it's cool. And then it turns out that after that they will leave. Like, they are up in the voting screen. Yeah, because there's always three things in the voting screen. So they are up in the voting screen. I have no idea what's going to happen, by the way, because if a duo gets eliminated, then that means that there's also just two people left. So I don't know who would get up for voting. Yet again, I'm absolutely think I want the uncommon duo to win. They're just cool. They're relaxed, but they're very strategically smart. Like, they're just good at it. Like, they're just pretty good at it. The main duo is fine. I don't have anything against Toykit and the Whispering Flower, but I just think the Scrapbook and especially the Peppermint Icing, they're just elite. Then we get to the but. I really hope Dandy Plus gets somebody. Are they actually present in the poll? I don't know, but if they are present in the poll, that's pretty solid. But anyways, so then we end up seeing what's going on with Bass. So Bassy is somebody. I don't know who that is, but they exist now, apparently. Um, uh, so, yeah, I did not know about this character until now, but they exist. My apologies. So, yeah, they will apparently leave on the holiday, I think, as well. Or no, but it's their first day. Is it their first day, or are they leaving? Oh, my tune license. I don't know, to be honest. I unfortunately don't really know what's going on. You're giving Dandy your tapes for Bassie and Bobette in the past. What? What does that mean? I'm trying to. What? I don't know what that means, bro. Hold on. You're giving Dandy your tapes. Yes, they did that. For Bassie and Bobette in the past. Uh, no, no. So for the both of them. So, okay, presumably when they're watching the tapes, it would be Bobette and Bassie. They're watching them because they leave after the holiday season. Okay. But what do you mean for Bassie and Bobette in the in the past? What? Time travel? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. They see each other all the time. I think he knows best what they've been through. So what does that have to do? Great man on the way up. I'm sorry, I don't know. This is lore. I don't know. In the past, I'm so lost with in the past. What does that mean? In the past? You can't. You're giving your taste to somebody in the past. There's no. That's what it says. Surely, I'm not misreading that badly. You can't do that. Well, they see each other. Who sees each other? Dandy and the Holiday Tunes? But then, like, it's just giving a tape. Like, it's not that important. No? Like, it shouldn't be that important. Theoretically, like, it's a video. It's a show. Like, it's not like the biggest thing in the world. It shouldn't be like, it's not like a traumatic thing. What they've been, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that it's bad or good or whatever it is. This lore, I don't understand it. I don't know if I don't understand it because there's something I'm missing, or if I don't understand it just because I am built for it. You know, maybe, but whatever it is, I don't really get it. To be honest, so might be my bad, might not be my bad. There's no way for me to know. Let's send it to the episode that released 3 weeks ago, the one that I should have known about but didn't know about. Episode 4, Turnabout, Brainrot. Let's go. Let's watch it. The final video of the day. Let's go. Okay, so I just watched episode 4, the latest one, and it's one of those filler episodes. So it's kind of weird to join a show in a filler episode, but I guess that's what we're doing here. Um, so basically, we end up grind. So basically, it turns out that Dandy Plush is grinding Dandy's world, as you do. So they get turned over into court, and we do a great little Ace Attorney. You know what? It's actually well, I'm not gonna say it's faithful or not because I haven't actually played Ace Attorney, but from what I've seen, it's pretty fun to be honest. We have Toy Kit as no, not the jury, the judge. Then we have the prosecution, which is the icing, the peppermint. Yeah, the peppermint icing. Yes, I remember the name out of memory. I didn't have to check the list. Right, peppermint icing. Yes, I'm learning. Dandy's World Trick is #1 knowledger incoming soon. But yeah, apparently it's procrastination because it's been 1 month since episode. I think it's honestly 1 month between episodes is what I was expecting them to take. The fact that apparently the production of this show can actually go for a week, especially if you consider that like episodes like 1 and 2, they're relatively big episodes. So yeah, I mean, fair enough, to be honest. So yeah, but Oh no, blah, blah. Wait. The original episode, the first season, took a week. Now they take them up. Yeah, no, that make sense. Or take them up, but yeah, the Andy Plus gets absolutely demolished by this information. I like how the scrapbook gets ignored because he called it a fat. See, this is what I mean. How does Tweak it sound like? Ain't worth a hill of beans? A hill of beans? What accent is that? You call me fat, so you call me fat, so your word ain't word. How do you say this? Y'all call me fat, so your word ain't worth a hill of beans. What? Who says that? I'm sorry. What are we trying to? What? I need the. I need a dub of this show entirely so I can hear Toy Kit. I need. Like this is necessary information. Hill of beans. Is that actually a thing? Hill o beans. Is this a saying? The meaning of hill of beans. What? I've literally never heard this in my life. Like proper. I've just not. Chiefly U.S. What? Yeah, yeah, no, I'm just absolutely, genuinely, uh, like never heard of it. Where did the expression, the expanded formula of a hill of beans is American. So, yep, let's go America. I don't know. I've just never heard it, to be honest. It's new English. I guess I'm gonna start saying it a bit more. I'm gonna start saying more hill of beans because yeah. Um, Unfortunately, Dandy gets yet again destroyed. Charles, the internet debater, yet again. That's okay. All right. This is the same exact joke as the last episode on the dot. I'll give it a pass because this episode isn't real in the sense that like this is like doesn't matter. You know, like if you skip this episode, it doesn't matter. It's another episode that this is a three. This isn't an episode. This is a 3.5 at the very minimum because it doesn't count. It shouldn't count as its own episode. You know, like make this episode 3.5. You know, it makes way more sense in my opinion because nothing happens of value in this episode. So it's like a half episode. Yeah, the characters are interacting and stuff, and lore happens, but it doesn't matter for the show. So it's not a full fledged episode. You know, this is 3.5. 0.5. Come on, like you can do it. You can do half numbers. But yeah. In this case, I'll allow the joke. I wonder what Charles, the internet debater, thinks of being a constant presence in the show now. But yeah, eventually they get absolutely demolished. The finale is then, and then we end the grinding Dandy's World. Look, I'll be honest. I got a friend that's currently grinding Dandy's World right now. They probably won't watch this because there's no way they watch 1 hour 52 minutes of this. Well, show they haven't watched. So I'm relatively safe to tell you that they're spending a hilariously long amount of time doing that. So I think that this makes sense, to be honest. The grind is real. Danny's World grinding takes up a hilariously long amount of time. So you know what? Sure, especially if you don't have that much free time. I allow it getting delayed. We don't need to make apology episodes that much. You know what's interesting? Episode 5 is the finale. Is it? Why is it a finale? No, it's not. How's the finale? Does the duo win? No, surely not. Cause like what? Hold on. So it's about to say, bro, what? Because like it's a duo. Surely one of the two wins. Because the prize is one candy, or does the duo get the candy? Like I thought that it was gonna be okay. The top two split up, and then there's another episode, the vote to win, and then boom. Because we haven't done a vote to win. So how do you do it? Is it gonna be scripted? Is it gonna be like a scripted final, or is there just gonna be no final and they both win? Because that would be I feel that'd be anticlimactic because we were doing a vote to eliminate, not a vote to win. I think. As I'm aware, I think maybe I misunderstood the last episode, but I thought it was a vote to eliminate. And then we were going to divide the two characters left, and then we were going to do like they were still one more foot. And then episode 6, or well, 5 in the case that this doesn't exist, would be the final one. And then it's all good, right? But no, the next episode is the finale, which is how's the finale? Either the duo wins, which would I guess be anticlimactic, because it's kind of just from a random vote, or there's like a challenge between the two of them, and whoever wins that challenge wins, which would be like a scripted winner. I don't necessarily mind a scripted winner because you get to write it into the show. You know, kind of how like the winner being participation trophy in the last season matters to the lore of the series, because like now it's like, okay, Shelly's Trinket won the season, and like you got third, right? Shrimpo got third, and all that. Like, you know, all of that stuff is important. Like the specific standings matter towards the show. So if in the way, whether you want one to win or the other to win, and how's that going to impact the vision of the show? Probably not that much, because I'm imagining that this is a relative side season. But like, if you imagine that, like, as you want the winner to matter, then like, yeah, you can write it more properly if you're ideating a final, instead of having to adapt to whoever gets chosen. So I don't necessarily mind, especially because if you were to do that, you'll still be doing that with a really low sample size. Like, you're picking one or the other. It's not like you're picking one of like 6 people to win, and it's just whatever's most convenient for you. Like, you're still dealing with what the viewers mostly wanted to win, you know? Like, it's a 50-50. So I don't mind. I think that makes cool. That makes sense. I think it's cool. Or the duo could win, but in which case that'd be weird because there's only one prize. So I don't know why I'm doubting that happening so much. Like, surely it could be what's happening, but I'm just gonna say it's no. My opinion is that it's no. All right, I don't think it's happening. So yeah, we officially caught up for Danny's World Trinket Trouble. What do you think of this series? It's fun, to be honest. I found it pretty enjoyable, to be honest. As a watch, I did not mind watching it at all. Like, absolutely. It was fine. The jokes are maybe like, okay. I feel like the jokes do sometimes get overused a little bit in the show, in my opinion. Like, they do sometimes get overused a little bit, whether it's the usage of some certain gifts or some like the Brainrot language. Like, okay, we get it. People don't like that you say the Brainrot word. Like, can we new joke? You know, like, I think we sometimes beat a horse to death a little bit, but other than that, I like the jokes themselves. Like, I do think that we use the jokes sometimes a bit too much, but I do like the jokes themselves, right? So in general, I don't really mind it that much. It ends up perfectly good, no problem with that. You know, we chilling. So yeah, that's all solid. But then, what else do I have to say here? That, yeah, to be honest, no, I think, is there anything else to say? I don't think there's anything else to say here. To be honest, I mean, like, yeah, I see why some people might dislike the show, absolutely, but I really didn't mind it. And remember, in life, if you don't like a thing, just don't care, just ignore it. You know? Like, what's your point if you're being a random object show fan on Twitter and going like, yo, I hate this dandy world object show. I just wish it didn't exist. Like, what? Just pretend it doesn't. You know, like, it's not gonna infect your life. It's not gonna be like a twist. You're not gonna become twisted because the show exists, right? So it's like, in general, if you don't like it, ignore it. I personally absolutely didn't mind watching it. I don't think it's elite tier, especially because we're reusing jokes, but in general, the jokes themselves are fine and all that stuff. I think my favorite episode was probably episode 1 of this season. Episode 1 of this was pretty damn solid because we got to see the characters interact. We didn't do much, like, it was pretty new, basically. It wasn't the ideas that they did, the jokes that they did, and just in general, the interactions that they did were unique, which means that episode felt completely fresh. So that was definitely my favorite episode, and I hope to see more stuff along those lines. Because if you think about it, what joke in that episode got used in another one? None really, because it's a unique challenge, it's a unique concept, it's a unique thing that they did with the pairs and stuff. Like, it's just unique. Even the joke of like the kiss, Like it's a unique joke. They didn't do that before. Or in episode 2, they did way more of like repeating. Like you can properly tell. Go compare. Like it's way, way, way more. And I think the approach taken for episode 1 is better than the approach taken for episode 2, because with 1 you maybe won't get as many hits, but you'll have more attempts at them, and you'll just in general make a more entertaining product overall. And while episode 2 could be good in the short term, if people are like, ha, it's the joke that I like, it'll eventually get stale, people will get bored, and people will say you fell off. Alright, that's all I've really got to say. Look, I'm saying this as a relatively directly, because this show, one of the entire elements of the show is how it looks at the criticism. So the fact that I've just talked about the show for an hour puts me very scared. I'm afraid. Don't put me in the finale, please. Don't destroy me, Dandy Plush. Don't turn me into a twisted. I'm okay. All right. That's all. We have officially crossed the Omega episode length. Let's do an outro. And there it is, everything for today's installment of Object Catch-Up. Yet again, we didn't take a look at too many shows today. We mainly took a look at the stuff in the 10,000+ views tier that we had lying about. So we covered that, and officially that's cleared up until, of course, something new releases or I find something else that deserved it to go there. But for now, we took a look at everything. I'm currently not in a rush, to be honest. I originally was in that type of rush to try to cover catch up or whatever, but like again, stuff takes how long it takes. Like regardless of what I cover in a specific video, it's gonna take the same amount of time. You know, like for example, this episode has to happen anyways, right? But if I cover something with 20 episodes first or something with or this first, it doesn't matter because like in general the overall length remains exactly the same. Right, like it just ends up the same way, where it's just okay. You know, I talked about this for 2 hours, and then I talked about that for 2 hours. Whether it's this, that, whether it's today, tomorrow, any day, doesn't matter what order I do it in. So I just decided to standardize the process of sorting it. So now I know perfectly what I'm going to be taking a look at each day. And it's, well, not perfectly because, of course, new stuff releases. But I know at the start of each day what I'm going to take a look at that day. And I think it eases my mind absolutely. We're making sure that this show ends up better than ever. And that now I think with this, we are, in fact, doing it better. That's all for today. For Dandy's World Object Shows, as far as I'm aware, unless there's other ones, please, if there's other ones, let me know. And for the Nolla short film, we're officially all caught up. See you next time.